Somalia is one of the most dangerous countries in the world. We enlisted the help of UK security to ensure our safety when shooting. This ex-Somalian Special Forces soldier works for a private security firm.
Armored car, and when you close and lock it, no one can enter. Bullet or explosion, it defended everything.
We were escorted by 8 armed guards. Despite its calm atmosphere, Mogadiscio, the capital city, is under attack every day. We'd barely been in the car 2 minutes when we were stopped at a checkpoint.
Something happened in the city?
Yeah, explosion.
A bomb had just gone off at the end of the street, visible by these pillars of white smoke. The city was sealed off, but we managed to reach our fortress of a hotel. Protected by anti-bomb walls on either side, every vehicle is searched by armed guards on entry. UK has even built a panic room within the hotel in case of an attack.
Safe room ka oo markii dadka dib u dhaco kale waan soo gelinaa waa meel safe ku ah nafsadooda. This is the water. Albaabkan waxa waaye proof waa albaabkaas oo haddii qofka hoos ka xirto.
This hotel hasn't welcomed any tourists in decades. Most of the guests are Somalian officials who fled their homes and sought refuge here with their families. Even the chief of police lives here. On the other side of the hotel, the security firm has installed cameras everywhere.
Operation room.
The entire perimeter of the hotel can be monitored from these screens. And they can also keep tabs on the firm's armored vehicles thanks to GPS trackers. When there's a lack of official information on an attack, social media is used to get the latest news.
Here we have Twitter, which we can follow the latest news internationally and locally. Here we have Zakia Hussein, Deputy Police Commissioner, Somali Police Force. So she tweeted that a Toyota Noah VBID went off near security checkpoint at kilometer 4 junction. It's about 100 meters away from us here.
We got hold of this footage the same night. There were 12 fatalities and over 30 people injured. Located on the Horn of Africa, Somalia has been ravaged by civil war, piracy, Islamist terrorism, and famine since 1991. Over the past 30 years, there have been over 500,000 deaths. Over the past 30 years, there have been over 500,000 deaths. In 1992, French politician Bernard Kouchner came to Mogadiscio and gave out bags of rice donated by school children.
Absolument envoyer des médecins, du matériel. Ils n'ont pas de drap pour être enterrés. Ils n'ont pas de nourriture pour survivre.
Somalia has been under the control of the Al-Shabaab terrorist militant group since 2006. Their soldiers occupy almost 2/3 of the land and are threatening the city of Mogadiscio. Since they infiltrated the capital, bombings have doubled. They are responsible for thousands of Somali deaths. Not only in Mogadiscio, but also in Nairobi, where 68 people died in an attack on a mall in 2013. Every day, hundreds of police officers use every means necessary to protect Mogadishu from these terrorist attacks. We were given exclusive access to Mogadishu's central prison, where terrorists are about 50 to a cell. A new generation of politicians, including the mayor of Mogadishu, are risking their lives to try to restore law and order.
Political leaders are the top target.
The emergency services don't have the funding to respond to every call. This often comes with horrific consequences. Despite intervention from the West, the residents of Mogadishu are struggling more than ever in this city of chaos, ravaged by 30 years of conflict. The scars of war are visible on every wall of the city center. The old town is in ruins. Public services are barely functioning, and the economy is on the brink of collapse. The 2.5 million inhabitants of Mogadishu are living from hand to mouth, working in small shops or on inner-city livestock farming. The 2.5 million inhabitants of Mogadishu are living from hand to mouth, working in small shops or on inner-city livestock farming. The average salary is just $2 a day, barely enough to buy the basics. More than 2/3 of the population are under 25 years old. Most of the young people make their living through small jobs and dream of leaving the country someday. Mohammed is 22 years old. He makes his living driving this tuk-tuk. Thousands of these tiny taxis whiz around town. He'll sometimes work more than 20 hours a day. There's no public transport in the city. A 20-minute journey costs around 99 cents. Somalia's local currency, the shilling, is no longer used, and most people now trade in US dollars. Almost no cash is used anymore. Daily transactions take place via text message. Mohammed doesn't have enough money to take his driving test. So at every checkpoint, he's at the mercy of the corrupt police officers.
After bribe, they will ask me the license, they will ask me all shit questions. I give them.
Tuk-tuk drivers like Mohammed aren't the only victims of corrupt police officers. We also experience this in our own vehicle. Our driver used his cell phone to pay around $8 for our safe passage. Some days, Mohammed loses his entire day's wages.
One day you might pay 3 different places.
Mohammed lives in the city center. He shares this house with his mom, his 5 teenage brothers, and his sisters. Everything he earns is used to feed his family.
internet meeshan jikada waa meesha cuntada ku karsano maanta bariis waaye shalay muufaa karsane may kan canjeelada ku ridanaa inta qudaar waaye kan weelasha isticmaalayna waa.
As the oldest, Mohammed has become the head of the household before the age of 18.
أبيه وحود أنتي لو كن يكوي تبكي إن إشياء عصو القرآنايو معنا يعني أسوأ القرآنيني سويحي أو هوس سودكتي دجال هوس تانك سعودي أسوأ قري سوفيريا أحبت شاق كلفته مركوني ولعدي.
Mohammed had some of his childhood friends over when we were there. Having all grown up during the Civil War, violence has always been a part of their lives.
dilaa ka jiro shaqo ma lahan iska rafaad badan tahay saaxiibada hal mar waxaa waaye qofka hadda kaa taga waa dhimooyaa zaaid oo weliba badan yihiin hal ilaa
والله meeshaan horta wadankan dhibaato kaliya waaye marka dad badan macnaha saaxiibadeeda ee qarax markay ku laadeen markaas aniga iyo dadka saaxiibada Yurub markay aadeen aan markaas aan taariibaan.
For them, Europe represents hope for a better life. All the men tried to flee the country in 2016. They paid smugglers almost $7,000 for their escape. All took different paths, and all of them went through hell and back.
Soomaaliya ku baxay markaan Kenya soo maray waati aan ku sheegay shalay Kenya waa lagu xiray oo 7 maalin ku xirnay kabacdi wiil la xirnay oo soo dadku soo raasayna ku cabaaday ana 7 maalin meesha ku xirnay qof iga sii deeysan ma lahayn caawiya sidoo markaa tagay baawar waxaan ugu leesaaray oo leeyihiin ku muwaadiniin oo soo markii la saaray baawartu dagaal dhaxna u qabsay dagaal magaalada ku soo si uu ogaay laakiin gacanta waxa joomido waqtigaas gaari noolan lahay gacanta inta ka jawaad oo qala gacanta xataa ma tusmiido abadala hada ugu jirta meel ku taala ilaa lacaga helay gacanta
even you can feel it from here the police is here you can touch it
so you touch.
Despite everything they endured, they still want to suffer this hellish journey all over again to get out of Somalia. Mohammed's journey was cut short in Sudan. Held captive in an oil tank for several days by bandits, he managed to warn the leaders of his clan. He introduced them to us. In Somalia, they're called sultans.
nala soo wacay ninkii meesha soo joogay qaraabo kale waxa ka joogtaa soo meesha joogtaa nala soo wacay ninkii meesha ku dhiban yahay waa lagu xareeyay fiiraha wax ka galeen biyaha galeen ninkii meesha saa lagu haystaa saas waa inay liido waa macnay
relative there.
What did you think of him trying to leave Somalia to Europe?
dhibaatooyin weyn aan ka qabnay oo taas marxaladeeda waa tan dhibaatada keenayso dhalinyarada Soomaaliyeed meel walba ay joogaan ay curyaameen.
You understand that he's afraid to live here?
waxa ka muhiimsan taa anaga rabno tiisa teena ka muhiimsan oo soo inuu shaqeysto dalkiisa dadkiisa wax la qabsado oo aadaya taariibkaasi dhibaatooyinka kala soo kulmay dhibaatooyinka soo gaareen wax walba ka weyn.
To convince him to stay, the sultans lent him $3,000 to buy his tuk-tuk. He pays them back when he can. When the state fails, traditional authorities take over. There are 2,000 clan leaders in Somalia that serve as authorities. In northern Mogadishu, Sheikh Garwane is the sultan of the Roble Sadi clan, originally from a village further south. His red beard is a sign of wisdom. He was elected by the 50,000 members of his clan. He is both judge and jury, and in some cases, he has the power of life and death over his subjects.
Sultan nimada horta waxa ma aragtay qofka uu iska keensan kara maaha waxbarasho uma soo marin laakiin qofkii diinta barta dee waa masaalixada naaska u yaqaan qofka markuu ana diinta barto masaalixada wuu garanaya waxbarasho uma soo marin laakiin qofkii diinta barta dee waa masaalixada naaska u yaqaan qofka markuu ana diinta barto masaalixada wuu garanaya.
Sultans do not receive a wage. To earn a living, Sheikh Garwane is a teacher at a Quran school. He is paid 180 euros a month. In Somalia, you have to pay to go to school. The poorest Somalians learn to read at religious schools, which are free. The Quran is the only book that is studied. The children learn it by heart, using extracts painted on these wooden boards. This religious school has children ranging from 6 to 15 years old. The girls are separated from the boys.
maanta waa khamiis insha Allah waa leedin fasaxa laakiin maxaa la rabaa marka lagu fasaxo ya ilaahay in laga cabsado marka ugu horeyso marka insha Allah intaas aan idinku ogahay waa isfasaxna insha Allah ya macal Hussein idin fasaxa insha Allah. Assalamu alaykum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The Sultan doesn't get a day off. Class has barely finished before he must go deal with an important matter. One of his clan members has been accused of murder. Here is the accused. Abderrazak is a police officer. He has been accused of killing a civilian at a checkpoint. Somali authorities have been increasingly harsh on officers accused of abuses like this one.
waxayna maxkamaddu ku xukuntay dil toogasho ah oo ah qisaasta marxuum Cabdirazaaq Yuusuf Guure cidii aan ku qanacsanayn xukunka maxkamadda waxa u furan racfaan wabillahi tawfiiq.
It's out of the question that the Sultan would leave one of his own to die. A meeting is called at a Mogadishu hotel. Clan representatives from several regions are present.
maadaama diinta islaamka ay qabto saddex qaybood qaybta koowaad qofka in qofka loo dilo labo qofka in uu afiyo qofka in diin laga bixiyo saddexdaas marka waxaan ku heshiin in diin laga bixiyo heshiiska labaad maadaama diinta islaamka ay qabto saddex qaybood qaybta koowaad qofka in qofka loo dilo labo qofka in uu afiyo qofka in diin laga bixiyo saddexdaas marka waxaan ku heshiin in diin laga bixiyo heshiiska labaad waa laba qolo oo diyada boqolka geela ah oo shariicada islaamku qabto kala qaata boqol geela oo wax kale aan lahayn.
100 camels are worth around $50,000. This sum will be raised through donations from other clan members. Everyone should donate what they can, from $5 to $200. If the clans can work things out between themselves, justice won't be necessary.
sababtaas beeluhu ay ama qabaa'ilku ay u bixinayaan diyooyinka iyo problemka waxaa la bartay dhibaatadii Soomaaliya ka dhacday dawlad la'aantii ayaa waxaa lagu fahmay ama qabaa'ilku isku fahmeen in ay dhibaatadooda ay dhameystaan inta laga helayo dawlad weyn.
The guilty police officer will only be released once the victim's family receives the $50,000 promised to them. The process could take several months. To regain the Somali people's trust, a new generation of leaders are risking their lives and getting involved in politics. This fortress is home to one of the most powerful men in the country. Abdirahman Omar Osman is the mayor of Mogadishu, and his life is threatened every day. As far as the Al-Shabaabs are concerned, this man is a target. He invited us to follow his daily life.
This is Somali tradition breakfast. Liver and anjara, what is called, is similar to pancake. Yeah. We eat in our hands as well, which makes our food very delicious.
What is your task as the mayor of Mogadishu?
Provide clean water, primary health care, primary education. The huge challenge is the security in the city where we are improving at the moment.
The mayor travels in an armored car. He's escorted by at least 10 police officers. Despite the danger he faces every day, Abdirahman Osman chose to leave his peaceful life in Europe to return to Somalia.
I came back from UK 11 years ago. I was working the local government, and so I left my job, my family, to help my people, and that's why I came back from UK.
How did you become the mayor?
The president has appointed me.
Here in Somalia, there's no election for mayor.
Not at the moment, but we are working towards an election for the near future.
When he arrives at the town hall, he's given a special welcome from the chief of his personal guard. The mayor has the largest salary in the country, $15,000 a month. He oversees 2,600 civil servants, but also must find time to solve their problems. In his office, his admin staff are forming a line. He sees them one by one to listen through their issues. This man has an issue with his neighbor. With an annual budget of $33 million, the city barely has enough to pay its staff's wages. However, a lot of investment is needed to re-establish order in Mogadishu. The issue takes up most of the mayor's time, sometimes through the night. In the evening, his personal security is doubled. 20 police officers escort him in a convoy.
Political leaders are the top target, as well as for security chiefs. Because of the terrorists have changed their tactics to asymmetric warfare, then we have to be prepared ourselves. And since we are serving to our people, we need to be absolutely sure that we are safe.
Every evening, he meets up with the city district security committees. Tonight, they're meeting in an open-air sports hall turned office. Tonight, they're meeting in an open-air sports hall turned office. A representative from each district is present. The chief of the National Police has also come along. This day was particularly restless, with 5 fatalities.
waxaa kiiskaas la wareegay CID-da welina lama helin qof aqoonsado meydka ku yaala isbitaalka.
What kind of serious incident have you been reported?
Serious, including one incident that took place in Karan district, where one Malaysia with a gun fired a gun to civilians. That was a serious one.
There are nearly 2 million weapons in the city. Despite the danger, the mayor and the chief of police decided to make a statement that evening.
For the public to see, the mayor and the police commissioner are walking on the street.
Without fear?
Without fear. Also, we will talk to the young people here. You will see.
The mayor wants to show he's not afraid to walk at night, surrounded by about 50 soldiers and police.
Unsecured, like all the corners. Some of them, the Bajaj using like small cars using to come from the corner. So we block like this, right?
The threat can be anytime?
Anytime, but I doubt it. If they see us with this full force, this is a show off.
Yeah.
They can't face us.
The group finished their evening in a city center restaurant.
السلام عليكم. هيا مرسي مرة مرسي. Yeah.
This normal evening is in fact the first of its kind.
We never see mayor of government, mayor of Mogadishu, or mayor of Benadir, and the police officer are looking around and streets at night. For 27 years before, we don't see that. But now if we see the mayor and the police officer and all the government are looking around at night, there's some improvement in the peace.
Unfortunately, this peace didn't last long. 3 weeks later, the mayor was attacked. He was welcoming the UN representative for Somalia, James Swan. The Al-Shabaab terrorists took advantage of this meeting and launched a suicide attack. A bomb went off in the function hall. 6 people died. The UN representative managed to escape the attack. But the mayor was seriously injured and flown to Qatar for treatment. Unfortunately, he died of his injuries a week later. A national memorial was held. This blind woman was behind the attack. For more than 2 years, Miriam worked closely with the mayor. She was originally from Al-Shabaab territory and was working as an undercover agent for the terrorist organization. She was wearing an explosive vest and died in the attack. After weeks of negotiation, we managed to get in touch with a former Al-Shabaab member. We met in a secret location in the center of town.
Good to see you. This is Hussein. Nice to meet you.
Marie is a father of 2. He was forced to join the jihadists when they took over control of his region, or so he claims. The Al-Shabaabs have infiltrated themselves in all parts of Somali society.
There's no way to recognize them.
jaamacadaha iskuul sanadsan. They are anywhere in Mogadishu. Meel walba Muqdisho waa joogaan. Laba walxaadi buu joogaan bayaga dhanba. Inay jaajuus yihiin oo ay sir gudbiyaan. Iyo inay yihiin dad u qaabishan income-ka oo lacagaha inta laga soo diro. dowladana ka mid ah. Oo uga qaada wasiirada iyo xildhibaanada ee dowladda lacagta uga qaada. Labadaas ay ku joogaan. So they're stronger than the government. Ma dowladdu way ka adag yihiin boqolkiiba boqol. Because dowladdu isma qarxi karta moogta. Nin isqarxaa dadka dhan waa ka adag yahay.
He defected in 2015 and became an informer for the government. To stop the Al-Shabaab from attacking Mogadishu, the police are constantly patrolling the city limits. Mohamed Jago is in charge of this elite team. He is in charge of hundreds of men who've been trained by the U.S. Army.
maanta waxa waaye waxaan u soconaa shaqo oo control ah kontaroolada ee magaalada laga soo galo iyo kuwa gudaha iyo kuwa bannaankaba inta waxa waa soo kontroolaynaa.
We headed to the city's most dangerous points, where the police hunt down any al-Shabaabs trying to sneak into Mogadishu. Our driver was on high alert on the drive down, are constantly patrolling the city limits. Mohamed Jago is in charge of this elite team. He is in charge of hundreds of men who've been trained by the U.S. Army.
maanta waxa waaye waxaan u soconaa shaqo oo control ah kontaroolada ee magaalada laga soo galo iyo kuwa gudaha iyo kuwa bannaankaba inta waxa waa soo kontroolaynaa.
We headed to the city's most dangerous points, where the police hunt down any al-Shabaabs trying to sneak into Mogadishu. Our driver was on high alert on the drive down. As you can see from this video, law enforcement is regularly targeted with car bombs. While our convoy was crossing this neighborhood, the police officers noticed a parked car on the side of the road. They immediately aimed their guns at the driver. False alarm this time. We headed further into the most dangerous part of the region. 9 miles south of Mogadishu, the front line stops, and al-Shabaab territory starts. We arrive in the most dangerous part of the region. This is the entry point for Mogadishu. Security services are stationed at the borders.
inta badan waxay ka yimaadaan soonka al-shabaab oo hadda uu ku dhumalaysto laakiin annaga ama magaalada hadda ganaado ama soona al-shabaab ha ka yimaado jigboontigan waxaa muhiim ah in la baaro qof walba mara iyo gaadiid walba halkan bambooyinka iyo bistooladaha inta badan iyo ragga wataba waa laga qabtaa inta waxaan sameynaa jigboonti ugu culus ee magaalada laga soo galo waaye.
Attacks at this checkpoint are frequent. This truck exploded a few weeks ago, and it killed dozens of people. More recently, a car fitted with explosives tried to get through.
intii la istaajinayo raba in la qabto oo lala hadlanay wuu isqarxiyey.
We could still see the remnants of the car. The police officers chose to leave the evidence of this attack as a symbol.
waa jaakatii oo watay askarigii ee hor taagnaa baabuurka waana ku dhintay jaakadiisii waay.
A little further on, An improvised bunker had been built using cement blocks and sheet metal. Inside, an agent from the intelligence services. His only weapon, a laptop containing photos of potential suspects sent by informers across the country.
oo la xaqiijinayo waxay yihiin qof walba inta marayo waa diiwaan geliyaa baabuurkaas hadduu magaalada dhibaato ku geysto waxa la hayaa rekoorkiisa la hayaa tixraaciisa la hayaa.
The computer was a huge help this day. During a routine search at the checkpoint, the police recognized a young man.
Hello. Yeah. Kisa bani ku wareegi ka tagano. Hello. Ninkan inuu dabool hore ka inuu la egyahay oo police ku daba jiro.
Okay, information ka soo baxayo oo taliyaha rugtan xukumayo wuxuu leeyahay ninkan reportkiisa niman hore u haynay ayuu nala ekaaday marka baarisan gelinayna annagana looga shakiyay al-shabaab controlkan waxa waaye qofkii shaki laga muujisana loo qabtaa.
The young man was transferred straight to Mogadishu Central Prison. This 200-year-old building is right in the heart of the city. It's one of the oldest prisons in Africa, housing the most dangerous criminals and terrorists in the country, mostly Al-Shabaab. For the first time, a camera was allowed to film inside. "700 prisoners are incarcerated here." The warden showed us around. Some of them look barely 12 years old.
How many people? different afartan, soddon, konton,
The warden finally agreed to open one of the cells. We didn't realize it at the time, but this smiling prisoner was threatening us with death. A guard eventually opened up for us. All the guards chose not to carry weapons in case they're stolen and could be used in a prison riot.
Hello? Hello? Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay.
The prisoners are cooped up in their beds. It's over 40 degrees in the cell, and only one bathroom for 30 inmates. Most of them have sentences of at least 15 years.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Crowded cells, no running water. The UN have denounced the conditions of this prison. The warden took advantage of our visit to show us some of the rehabilitation programs in place. In this part of the prison, inmates can volunteer to work in various workshops. For example, iron workers to fix the prison beds. In the carpentry shop, the prisoners are building windows, as well as dummy wooden rifles. They'll be used in military parades.
meeshaan waxaa la keenaa dadka xabsiyadooda dambiyada soo gala sida tuugada, shabaabka, kufsiga, caasi waalideynka.
Most of them have worked here for several years. They earn $2 a day and can only spend it when they're released.
عشان ما نقول سنة تضاد أي صعب سنة تضاد أي صعب 16 سنوات ساقة وحكامك أنا حقي بشنا قرطة وساقة قابشنا ها ما دام ما كان سوق لها ما نقولي أنا حاجة وهم مركب بحونا كشيش قيسنا لك حفظها قانة تحبيني.
This small school is part of the prison. These former militia are now at 4th grade education level.
labaduba waxa ay dhigtaan dugsiga Maryamna waa ay maqneed.
Did you know how to read before the prison?
No.
Nothing?
No.
No school?
No school. مستقبلك wax badan inaan barto Ingiriiska language inaan ogaado. Bravo,
The warden's proudest achievement is the orchestra. Police and prisoners play music together, guided by a Kenyan conductor. A former jihadi who has been in prison for 5 years is on the xylophone.
markaba hobbigaygu wuxuu ahaa inaan musician noqdo kadibna markaa fursaddan aan helana waxaa ii soo baxday inaan ka faa'iidaysto
boolicigii ahay in nin walba oo meeshaan soo gala xabsiga qaababkii uu dambiga ku soo galay laga bedelo oo loo bedelo qaab uu ku shaqaysan karo.
These rehabilitation programs are funded by donations that come from all over the world. The international community sends around $2 billion a year in aid. However, almost half of that money doesn't fall into the right hands. For security reasons, the large international organizations have grouped together near Mogadishu Airport on the seafront. Impenetrable fortresses that are almost impossible to access. The aid workers barely leave this highly secure zone. We met up in this UN camp, which houses around 2,000 international workers. Justin Brady has overseen humanitarian aid here for more than a decade. Each building is reinforced to withstand heavy fire.
Here, fire coming in right now, and we have no place else to go, we would shelter in that until we knew an all-clear sign and we could move.
This base has been attacked several times over the past few months. The UN invests much of its budget to protect its employees.
The first is security and access. And that's why we have one of the highest costs of doing business in the world. An armored vehicle costs much more than a soft-skin vehicle. All of my staff have protective vests and helmets. Whether they need them or not, I have to supply those. And our cost of doing business is much higher than any other place I've worked in.
You don't know?
I don't have it off the... No, I don't want to speculate, okay. But yeah, it's much higher.
The workers living in these secluded camps earn at least $10,000 a month. To attract people to come here, they need to provide some incentives. They travel in armored vehicles. They fly in private planes. These high operating costs reduce the aid available for the Somali people. Out in the field, it's difficult to see where the money goes. Take this maternity clinic, for example. This is the only free solution for thousands of women if they want to give birth in a medical environment. It's financed by Action Against Hunger, a French NGO that's been in Somalia since 1992. There are only 3 midwives for over 140 consultations and 20 deliveries a day in this unsanitary space.
حواي أو شغلنا استعارة إحنا استينينه وكيالك أو استعمالنا مركي أنا قاعد ماسك آخرنا وايد كان.
No epidural, overcrowded rooms, and women are asked to leave just 24 hours after giving birth.
That means before.
The association can't afford to supply a doctor. Consultations are run by nurses. In more complicated cases, they only have this tiny medical manual to consult.
Somali treatment guideline ayaa la yiraahdaa waxa macluumaadka ku yaal waxa ay daawooyinka sida loo qaato ama ahaadan generalka ahaadano daawooyinka qofka urey aan ahayn qofka uur kale talaalkii qofka shuubiyoodka hayo qofka uu hayo cudurrada galmoodka lagu qaado STD-da.
The stillbirth rate in Somalia is 1 in 10. The lack of funding from medical NGOs often has serious consequences. When Somalians call the emergency services, it's often too late. Abdelkader Aden is a dentist by trade. He created this ambulance service over 30 years ago when the Civil War broke out. It's the only one in the entire city.
Today we have a 20 ambulance, even though it's quite old. It's old, like, it is 1998 or 99.
These imported vehicles only have the most basic equipment.
Yeah. It has an oxygen implant, emergency kit. It has a basic emergency things. It's also old, but better than nothing.
The association employs drivers and nurses, but still not a doctor on site. The dentist trains his staff on basic first aid.
Here is our campus where we train the students and some other paramedics. Yeah. Yeah, someone is sleeping. Yeah.
There were no lessons on this day. Amin Ambulance receives about 20 calls a day. And each time, it's a matter of life and death.
niyow qof dhaawacaan u soconaa bakaaraan ka qaadaynaa insha allah kadib soosaan geerabnaa waan la sheegay weli ma aan tegin meesha markaan tagana ogaanayna waxay
They've been called out to a small clinic to treat a 4-year-old girl. She's been here for a week, but her condition is worsening. The employees are completely out of their depth. The family was brought to the city's only hospital that has a pediatric ward. Her mother and uncle came with her.
ilaa hadda cudurka kama bixinin ditooradii meesha laga keenay wax jawaab lagama hayo kaliya waxay u sameeyeen service u sameeyeen marka ay sameeyeen waxa ka weyn waay
cunuga inaan gaarsiino arabnaa hadda inuu ilaahay noo caafiyo insha allah ilaahay ku baryeena waa dareemi kartaa xanuunka inuu yahay shay qaali ah.
There was no treatment given in the ambulance. It'll be too late by the time they get there. the little girl died on the way to the hospital. The mother fainted, overwhelmed by grief. Later, the family will be taken back home. In these slums outside the city. Her daughter will be buried on the same day, as tradition dictates. Dictates.
أنا نورتا حسن عبد القادر خير كان إله كان الحمد لله الشكر إلهي ميشو وحدكتو وحكا قاطا صبري إيمان الله نسيو dhammaanteena nafteeda meeshii loo soo joogo aqooneen alxamdu shukr ilaahan ku mahadana ku shukrinaa maanta cunuga ayaa iga saqiiray gargaarna uma yareen dadaalna uma yareen waqtiga ayaa galay.
Disease, poverty, malnutrition, squalor. Despite the financial efforts of international organizations, the situation remains catastrophic for millions of Somalians who have been forced out by the war. Partly because of the widespread corruption. According to the NGO Transparency, Somalia is the most corrupt country in the world. The billions promised by donor countries has fueled European greed. Back near the airport, we had a look at this brand new fortified complex, financed by the European Union to house its diplomats.